So today, actually, the organizers of this event asked me to focus on the self-governance of private enforcement officers. I know here, so I'm working in Ukraine since beginning of last year, 2015, as expert to the EU Justice Sector Reform project. And since then, I'm constantly hearing one and the same thing. Self-governance in Ukraine does not work. Okay. Many examples with attorneys, several associations that are pretending to be representative of attorneys' interests, with notaries. Actually, the notaries chamber just was established finally just last year, I think, while the notary's profession exists for several years already. Bankruptcy trustees, the colleague will say more on that, but probably they are facing the same problems as their fellow colleagues, notaries and attorneys. Setting up a professional association is not an easy task. And of course, if you bring people, if you bring humans in one place and try to make them work towards one goal and towards one objective, it's hard to make them work all together at one goal. But still, the establishment of the Professional Association of Private Enforcement Officers is even more needed than for the notaries and for the bankruptcy trustees. And this is because the activity of private enforcement officers first will affect the legal and personal sphere of every citizen in Ukraine in a much more intensive way than the notaries and the bankruptcy trustees professions. So here I just tried to put some the basic elements of that the chamber should respond to. The chamber first should add value to its membership. What does it mean? Because actually, if the chamber of future chamber of private enforcement officers would not add value, actually it will be deemed, how to say, unnecessary and unnecessary for its membership. I think that this we can see with attorneys, how to say, associations that exist in parallel, actually. And I think that the main reason for this parallel existence of different associations of lawyers, of attorneys in Ukraine, is that actually some of them show better, how to say, and add better value to its membership than the other ones. So you cannot make the membership happy with its association only by obliging these professionals to be member of this association. This association should provide really value to its membership in order to make them stay with this association and, how to say, work for achieving its goals. And here the participation of the membership is very important. The future association of private enforcement officers should make their membership participating in its activity. So it should not be just several people, for example, 5, 6, 7, or 10, okay, let's say, who will do everything in this association and who will, how to say, define the policy of this association. It should be the membership by in its all, and there are, of course, mechanisms to this common formulation of policies. They are hard to implement, but still we believe that the Professional Association of Enforcement Officers, with our help and with help with all the expertise that we have, actually will be established as active and participative organization. On the second point, actually the association should be democratic. What I mean under democratic is that all membership should be interests should be fairly represented in the common position of the association itself. It happens, and it's natural that in the association, as in politics, actually the majority dominates. It's normal, and it probably there is nothing better that the world has invented than democracy in governing communities. But democracy doesn't mean that actually the minorities should be, and the minorities' interests should be ignored and not taken into consideration when formulating policies of this community. The chamber, the Professional Association of Private Enforcement Officers, should be transparent and accountable. What I mean, it should be both accountable and transparent to its membership, but also to the society in large. The management body of the future association should inform the membership and the society how the policies are formulated and articulate in an adequate way the justifications and the reasons of formulating such policies. When talking about articulating, the chamber, the future chamber, should be a very good communicator. Actually, communication is probably, let's say, more than 50% in any event, but even more than 70% of the interchange between humans, between people. So even if you have a very brilliant idea and very brilliant concept, but you are communicating it badly, you will never achieve good results. Because communication, actually in communication, a lot of messages should be delivered straightforward to your audience. Through communication, actually, this is the main tool that the new profession will gain the public trust, which is very important, actually, for the well-being of the new profession and for actually for achieving the goals that the reform is aimed at. And I will end with this. Actually, this is something important as well. This is that the chamber, the new Professional Association of Private Enforcement Officers, should create an ecosystem of allies and partners. This is very important. This is some people will call it lobbying and advocacy. Yes, this is another way to phrase it. But this means that the chamber and the new profession will need allies because it will be new. So it should be linked with financial sector, with businesses, with attorneys and lawyers community, with consumer associations as well, if you look at the other spectrum on the debtor side, let's say this way, with media as well. And this consortium of allies and partners of the new association will, will enable it to be a strong advocate for the interest of the profession, not only, also for improvement of the regulatory framework on behalf of all citizens of Ukraine and businesses, of course. So I really believe that and hope that the new Chamber of Private Enforcement Officers, when set up, will be an example to follow for all other professions. Actually, we may say that it happened in other jurisdictions, and that I worked in Serbia, in Bulgaria, in Albania, in Georgia. So I think that it's a unique opportunity for Ukraine to show that self-governance in Ukraine can work. And if we build the new association in a way to serve an example for all the rest legal professions at least, then I think it will be this collateral benefit that all other professions can follow the good example and try to improve their own self-governance systems. Thank you very much.